I'm talking to Dr. Esther Gathura. She studied in the UK. She's a certified cosmetic plastic surgeon that also can do some cosmetic surgery. So asking for a friend, right? We have the balloon. Have you ever inserted that balloon to help people manage their eating?
Yeah, as I said, that's done. That's a different what do you call it, specialty. So
Yes.
it's bariatric surgeons. So there are people who do it. They're not plastic surgeons. They just send people to us.
They just send people to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it that you feel Kenyans are most at risk of? I know you mentioned the Kenyan butt lift and all the quackery around that, including people inserting Roico. I've had people injecting cement, all kinds of dangerous things, silicone. Now, with regards to implants, types, risks, costs.
So implants, the main material that makes implants is silicone. It's not plastic. And you people think plastic surgery means that
you're inserting plastic.
No. Plastic surgery doesn't mean we're inserting plastic. Means plastic, when you mold it, it moves around.
Yes.
We're moving tissues around. That's what it means. But back to silicone. So the silicone is the main material, and it's been studied for years and years. Silicone is the same material when your baby's having the bottle in the milk, the bottle, the teat of the bottle. That's silicone.
Okay.
So it's quite an inert product. Has very minimal reactions with the body. So it's a safe product.
Okay.
But there are other things that people put around the silicone to make it maybe last longer. It goes south sometimes. There's infection. There's risk of infection, real risk of infection. If you go to somebody who is not qualified enough, they're in a dirty environment, you'll get really horrible infection.
So what should you look out for, right, when you're there with the surgeon or the medical professional inspecting whatever is about to be implanted into your body?
You can't, the main thing is you can't obviously inspect it because it comes in a box to be imported. Make sure it's being done by a reputable person who has been qualified, and you're at a reputable institution, that a hospital, not a little office somewhere, not
Nitakuja home,
small clinic, nothing like that. It has to be somewhere where I talk about Aga Khan because that's where I work.
Yes.
It's certified for that. There's qualified personnel everywhere in theaters, etc. So it's not about just the surgeon.
Yes.
The people handling that material, if they're not qualified, it's going to get infected.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where it's kept, the theater itself.
Yes.
If you're in a little dingy hole, you're going to get infection.
Yes.
You're going to have it done in. A lot of people. So the risk, as you said, the main risk is infection.
So no one should fool you and say, no. Kuja tu hapa.
Yeah.
We can half the cost.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Because that's what they do.
Exactly. So in X institution, it's this much. If you come here to my little clinic somewhere.
So remember, you're not getting a weave. All right? You're not getting a manicure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone is actually slicing your body open. So you need to be aware that here is not the place to get the saving.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Because what you could end up not saving is your own life.
And then we do use them for people who have had breast cancer. So as I said, I keep going back to functional. So functional first. So yes, they're safe products, have been tested for time, for a lot of time.
Yes.
There's a small risk with a certain type of implant that has been banned across Europe, America, that was shown to be linked to cancer.
Pause.
Yes.
Which one is that? Because what we're always afraid of in Africa is that once it's banned elsewhere, wanatulete hapa.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because they have all this excess stock kwa warehouse. What I do now? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Swahili is terrible. But seriously, so how do we make sure that that doesn't end up here?
Oh, gosh. I think it's just being, because I know we've got enough issues in the country. To be honest, I can't say that's the top one priority for the government to make sure we get safe implants. No, there's lots more priority. Yeah, there's people going hungry. Let's get real. So I think it's just the person who is seeking that sort of procedure to be astute.
Diligence.
Do your due diligence. I've told you some implants have risk of cancer. When you're sitting with a surgeon, ni implant gani? Google has all the answers. You will find it. Something called polyurethane for people who are thinking of going in. Polyurethane implants. Google.
I think you've said a very brilliant thing, because even with toys, a couple of times I've been Googling toys, and you find that they were recalled because of risk of, and yet they're being easily sold here, readily available. So yes, along with toys, implants and any other medical equipment or implants, make sure you do thorough research and background checks. Reputable institution is very important. Don't cut corners. You talked a lot about reconstructive surgery, and one of the questions that I got was about burns. We've had several incidents of children being burnt as a result of open flame, open cooking, etc. Accidents happen, right? What's the first step when a child is burnt? Or someone's burnt?
The first step, very simple, cool it down. Not cold water. We talk about tepid water. I think a lot, because we're not in a cold country, tepid water is maybe the water that's coming off your tap. If you're lucky enough to be in a building where you have cold and hot water, mix them. Just the lukewarm water, not cold. But if you don't have that, then just use the cold water you have off the tap. Cool the area, not for a minute, not for 2, 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
And 15 minutes is long.
So putting it in the water or running water?
Running water.
It has to be running water?
Running water is the best.
Okay.
If you don't have that, then just dip it in. If you have a wet towel, anything that is cool water, to cool it down is the first aid.
Question, does it matter the cause of the burn? Because burns come from different sources. It could be hot water boiling, it could be oil, it could be a piece of wood that was inflamed, it could be electrical. Does it matter what kind of burn it is?
So for the common type of burn we have at home is the scald for the little children. That's like the vast majority. You can have oil burns at home. You can have maybe flame burns.
Okay.
So those ones, definitely water. I know what you're alluding to. There's some type of chemical burns that we don't put, we prefer not to have water on. But having said that, the vast majority, even chemicals, will do well with water. Unless you're working in like a factory, and they'll have their standard first aid protocol for when that happens, use this. But the general mwananchi just needs to know that cool it down. Don't use toothpaste. Don't use flour. Don't use margarine, butter. Those are the things that people use. Yes, when they come to hospital.
What?
Don't
put Vaseline?
Whatever. No. Just cool it with water and then seek medical help.
Reconstruction after burns. What are the options?
What
have you seen?
Yeah, so the options depend on the obviously the extent of the injury. I think we're talking of the extreme extent where you've lost full thickness of skin, you've needed to have skin grafts. So that's the commonest one. And it's just harvesting a thin layer of skin in a controlled fashion from another part of your body and using it on where you've had a burn. Okay. So that's the best way to treat burns. It is expensive. You need to look after both the new area you've taken the skin from, the donor site, it can get infected. The place you've put, sometimes the grafts don't take well, can live with horrible scarring.
Yes.
So there's new, what we call skin substitutes. They're horrendously expensive.
Okay.
In the UK, for people who've had major burns, we're talking like you've probably burnt majority of your skin, over 70%.
Yes.
You don't have enough donor sites.
Yes.
So the first thing we use is what we call allograft.
Okay.
Allograft is basically cadaveric skin.
Okay.
So it's harvested in a good fashion. I think South Africa.
So when you say cadaveric in your very lovely voice, you're talking about skin from a dead person.
I am, but it can save your life. I know it will be shocking to a lot of people.
So do we have dead people's skin just in like fridges here?
So there's a lot of, there has to be lots of regulation around it.
Okay.
Or if it has to be harvested, has to be processed. When it's processed, it has to be very sterile and clean, right? So it's not something that is simple, that you just go to Kenyatta and, it's not. It's a very expensive process.
Okay.
So I know they have it in South Africa. Here, I don't think we have it. We're not at that stage.
So if anybody here is telling you they can do it, they're lying.
But you can import it. You can import it, like from America. It's interesting. We used to have, in the UK, you'd be in burn surgery and maybe you have like a Caucasian was a typical patient, but they have black skin and we just put it on because we have to. It's not permanent. It lasts until the wounds sort of hold on to themselves.
Okay.
And then after that, so that's one.
So the patient's natural skin will overlap it at some point.
At some point. All
right.
So that's one
option.
One option.
Okay.
The other option is synthetic skin. We have that.
Yeah. Which is made of?
Synthetic skin is so basically we use elements from animals. So you can use from pig, you can use from cow.
So it's actually
there's even
skin
stuff from sharks. It's not their skin. You just use the stuff that makes up the skin. Collagen, you've heard of collagen and those chemicals. So you harvest them and then you integrate them with synthetic materials, and then you can use a skin substitute. It's brilliant. It helps with people who, as well, you've had really bad scarring. You put it on, and then you put the normal skin, the skin graft on top.
Yes.
And it really gives a nice contour. It's extremely expensive
as well.
And not attainable readily here.
Someone asked me, please ask about fish skin and taking care of burns like it was a real or something I hadn't understand. So I said it, and I said, sorry, there had been some videos online about how fish skin is used to care for and or treat burns in humans. How legit is it?
It's very legit.
Okay.
So fish skin, specifically tilapia, so that's used especially in South America. They're using it. Yeah.
Okay.
I have been told, I don't know whether it's very reliable, that they're even exporting it there from here. Someone needs to...
Wait, they're exporting it
from here.
We're exporting tilapia.
Yes.
Okay, can I give you a story? I would believe it. Because I once traveled for 24 hours into the Amazon and they were going to give me a delicacy, something they value above everything else. When it came to me, in the middle of the jungle or wherever, Amazon in Peru, it was tilapia. And I was mad because I was like, I've not traveled all this way to come and eat something and get a deal at home. So I can understand that they would, if it's tilapia specifically that they're using, that we would be exporting it from here there because one, it's highly valued.
So I have had experience of using it in a burns unit. But that was something that was very experimental, and even my colleagues were like, are we sure? But it worked. Right? So it's processed. It's not like just tilapia skin. You skin it and put it on a bun. Okay. But I think that's something.
There are elements of it.
People with entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
There's something there. Definitely.
More with Dr. Esther Gathura. She is a qualified, certified plastic surgeon. We're talking about cosmetic surgery in Kenya, benefits, risks, costs, and more. I